What's up? It's another wealthy day in the neighborhood. Thank you so much for choosing to be my wealthy neighbors. Man, welcome to the 12th episode. Oh, 12 episodes in. Nice. 12th episode of Wealth Talk TV, where we have candid conversations with wealthy individuals on their wealth journey about their purpose, their adversity, legacy, and what wealth means to them. And I am so excited about this week's episode. So, this episode, I actually have the gorgeous, beautiful model and a very smart, very wise model, Karen, aka K. And the great thing about this episode is I really want you guys to know that representation matters. Representation is important. And when you see uh, Karen K, the amazing model, uh, on with Wealth Fashion on and rocking Wealth gear and see her on the website, I don't want you to just think that, oh, this is just another model. Uh, this is someone who is on her own individual wealth journey. She's going through the process of making sure that she's creating something that outlives her, as well as educating others along the way. And to be able to have someone like that, especially when it comes down to rocking and modeling um, the Wealth Fashion brand and being a representative of the Wealth Fashion brand is important to me. I don't want you guys to get caught up in the fact that, these are just clothes. We produce product with purpose. Clothes are just merely the canvas that we use to convey and serve as an ambassador, rather, to putting in your legacy work, putting in your inheritance work, to making sure that you're looking out for your successors, even if it comes down to the minimal stage, or which is minimal but also hard to do. It's just writing down the blueprint, documenting the blueprint, stating what exactly it is that you've experienced, what are some of the things that you've overcome, and being able to have that documented in a way where they can just go back to it and reference it and know how to be able to overcome certain obstacles, certain situations, as well as have the insider information on how to be able to achieve certain goals. So with this episode, Karen K is going to come on and just give us some information behind her own experiences, her own wealth journey, as well as just enlighten. So if you're a model, if you are an aspiring model, you definitely want to catch on to this episode, watch this episode, and just sit back and enjoy. Side note, this weekend, doing it one more time at Produce Portland, we're going to have the Davis Fest Street, and Wealth Fashion is going to be out there. So make sure you know that, Black wealth matters, support Black businesses, and don't just be a part of the trend. This is an investment in our community. This is an investment in our future, and we want to make sure that we're in a position where we're creating, doing the work, so that when we're done, we've planted a harvest, and others can eat from the fruit that from the seeds that we sown, as well as stand in the shade. So enjoy. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm sorry to get you so early. I don't know if you're an early
No,
riser or
it's no, I need to be more getting up early.
not. Okay, cool. So first of all, thank you for doing. I want to say this is episode 12 of Wealth Talk TV. So I really appreciate you for
Mhm.
participating and showing up this morning. Some people will be like, it's 10 o'clock. Nah, I'm good.
Thank you for the opportunity. Though. This is so cool.
Dope. So we're gonna kick it off. Well, I do want just what Wealth Talk TV is kind of like just extremely candid conversation about your own personal wealth journey and some of the things that you've seen, some of the things that you experienced, and basically stating uh some of the hurdles or the obstacles that you may have overcome, and just basically passing back the information on how others can be able to benefit, or maybe possibly some of the things that you would do differently than you did before.
Right.
So feel completely comfortable to just be candid as possible, as vulnerable as possible, because I do think that uh, sometimes some people can learn from someone else's mistakes, so they don't have to go through the same type of obstacles, or even if they do go through the same type of obstacle, know already know the answers to the test before getting to it. So this is
Right.
this is definitely one of that. But before we go deep into it, go ahead and tell the people your name and what's your purpose.
So my name is Karrin, or Kay. That's what a lot of people tend to call me. I am a 24-year-old model here in Portland. And what I believe my purpose is to, one, be a helper to others, be able to give out wisdom and help people on their path to greatness, and also be an example for, showing what hard work and, persistence will get you, and showing that you can come up, in a spoiled household or not, with hard work, you're going to get what you want. It's never going to be handed to you.
Dope, dope, dope. That's what's up. So how did you find that as your purpose, and how are you fulfilling it?
I really found my purpose in growing up in a household where um, I had somewhat of a difficult childhood growing up, and then going more into like my preteen, teenage years in a controlled household, being under a parent who just was really manipulating and controlling me 24/7. And I really just wanted to find myself outside of that household, and I wanted to really just do my own thing. I grew my own independence and wanting my own freedom. And I found out I really couldn't get anything without doing the work.
Mm,
So whatever I loved to do, and in high school at that time it was sports, I put 150% of my time into that,
mm,
and I got rewarded for it. I ended up getting college scholarship for it. I got medals, awards, and all that. And that really, like I said, just being in a household just really drove me to want to get out, do my own thing, and just be a provider for myself.
dope, dope, dope. So how are you now being a provider for yourself or fulfilling your purpose?
So really everything I do, 95% of the time I do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that also has kind of gotten me in a bad position at times,
Mm-hmm.
as back then I was so used to being my own therapist, my own supporter, being there for myself, because I felt like no one was willing to listen to me, and I really just didn't have a voice like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm learning to say it's okay to talk about your issues with people. It's healthy to do that.
Right.
Um, but I get my own money. I go search for my own jobs. Even in this modeling thing, if my agency isn't doing anything for me at the time,
Mm-hmm.
I actively go and look for work.
Right.
And I make content. I put myself out there, and it's been giving me so many opportunities to work with amazing people and brands, and just really grow myself as a model per se.
Awesome. Awesome. That's pretty dope. So, as a well, let's before we get to your modeling piece, what were some of the adversities that you experienced to the point that you got into? Because that sounds like some of the of what you answered. What were some of the adversities that you experienced getting to this place, knowing that you wanted to go into model, and how did you overcome it?
So some of the adversities I've dealt with is I deal with a lot of like anxiety issues,
Mm-hmm.
which can correlate into dealing with it on a physical level. Um, so really learning how to navigate that and going through, depression, being under a really strict household, uh, dealing with a lot of deaths in my life, and grief, um, bad relationships, all of that combined, it just has made me have this mindset of I'm going to go out and get what I want
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't do so much for so long. So I'm like so focused on what I want to do in my life, and I'm going to build my own happiness because my happiness for so long has been taken away from me.
I understand that. I understand that. So that's a trip. So you said that like you've battled with anxiety and
Hmm.
depression, and it just basically put you in a position where it forced you to focus on yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, like I dealing with anxiety, especially with like anxiety attacks and all that. I was so on edge for a while. Like I would have anxiety attacks almost on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've had an ER trip because I got so bad. So maneuvering my life around that, it was really tough at first because it was so new to me. Um, and just really trying not to stay in a funk
Right.
or dwelling on, or like not dwelling, but being scared of anxiety like I was for like over a year. I'm
Mm-hmm.
now to the point where I can wake up, I can look forward to the day, I can do productive things and not be so scared of what if an attack happens, or what if I get anxious about this and that. Like I feel a bit more free of thought of the fact of anxiety and also depression as well.
Gotcha. So how is it like if it does occur? Because not many. That's I don't think that a lot of people really discuss the type of mental trauma or the mental anguish that models go through. I think that,
Hmm.
because you're modeling that there's nothing like really wrong or anything like that, but you're a person, you're human, you experience life just like the rest of us. So
Right.
what exactly, like if that does occur, how do you basically combat it when you are feeling anxious or depressed?
It depends. Is like, say if an attack happens like during the day, I can go for a walk. Um, but I do a lot of breathing, a
Mm-hmm.
really deep breathing. It definitely helps if you have something to do busy with your hands, like that's gonna sound weird, like coloring, doing like just keeping your hands busy.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you do that, your mind gets distracted and not thinking about, oh, you're feeling anxious,
Right.
and an attack may be coming.
Right.
But what I've learned is really telling yourself it it's okay. What you're feeling is normal. It's fine. It's not gonna last. You're going to be okay. Just really repeating that to myself that everything's gonna be fine. It shortens the attack than me not saying anything. Because if for anyone who's dealt with attacks before, it feels like it lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, it's like maybe 10, 20 minutes.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So it's really just telling yourself in your head that you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. Um, and, what you're feeling is okay. Just breathe and you will be fine. That's like the biggest thing to do.
Gotcha. Have you ever experienced like a moment of depression or anxiety while like on a shoot or while modeling? And did you?
I,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
mean, on a shoot, that is one of the places where it all disappears.
Okay.
Like when I'm in that mindset, I'm like I gained this confidence that I don't normally get outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the depression, anxiety, my issues, they disappear.
Gotcha.
You know, when I'm, on a photo shoot in front of a camera, that is my form of art,
Right.
expressing it in front of a camera and just having my confidence just radiate through a picture.
Right. 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 So when you're in your passion, it's not even a focus. It's not even a thought.
Exactly. Like like even back then when I ran track, when I was at practice or at a meet, things at home weren't on my mind
Gotcha.
because I was so in the grind and in my hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And plus I was around so many good people, and none of that mattered because I was doing what I loved so much, and it made me so happy to be there and to really just be in the hustle. Like I just love the grind of it all. Like if because in the back of your head when you're working so hard, you you're gonna get an amazing outcome because of it.
Right. 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 So I wanted to ask, because you were talking about sports,
Hmm.
while we were in high school. What are some of the traits that you learned in sports that you have brought to your career or your path in modeling, and what ways have they been beneficial?
What sports has definitely taught me is good teamworking skills, being a leader when it's needed to be, um, more hard work for sure, and really just showing how patience can go such a long way because you're not going to get something you want right when you want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Right.
There's been moments where I've been practicing and I didn't get the time that I wanted to run, and I'm like, I did all this, why haven't I hit that time yet?
Right.
But then later on in the season it happens at the best time it could possibly happen.
Right.
So just really just being patient and trusting the grind, and your hard work will pay off when the time is right.
So kind of want to switch gears just a little bit, but
Hmm.
as a model, what are some of the factors that you pay attention to determine if you will work with a brand or a photographer?
I really go off good vibes with
Mm-hmm.
people, and with brands I really see what their backstory is and what the brand stands for.
Mm-hmm.
um, if it's something I can get behind, then I will support it 110%.
Mm-hmm.
And with photographers, it really just shows, how consistent they are, how good their work is, and just really their drive to basically create a good model and photographer relationship. Because if
Right.
it's like this, it's not going to work. It always has to be balanced. We have to understand each other and know and just really be creative together. We're going to create amazing work.
Right. Right. So, okay. So, when you do work with a brand, what is it that you hope to accomplish by working with a growing brand?
I really see it as more like a more of a collaborative relationship,
Mm-hmm.
especially with smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't charge smaller brands for really anything like at all,
Okay.
because I believe in that type of relationship we grow together.
Right.
It's really a win-win situation. Like I help you, push your brand additional with other people, and then you support me as a model as well.
Gotcha.
And and I don't charge for brands like that because I just don't feel right asking for
Mm-hmm.
money from a smaller brand. It just doesn't sit right with me at all.
Gotcha.
And if I gain a good relationship with the brand and the people behind it, then I'm more inclined not to charge.
Gotcha.
We
Gotcha.
created like this good, solid business relationship, and it's just amazing to have that.
Gotcha. So that's cool. So I want to ask, what have you learned from working with other brands, or what have you learned from working with them, as well as what are some of the things that you could say that you've applied to other brands?
I would say really put yourself out there, because at the end of the day, you are your own business,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the one that generates people to come in and look at your work, and you create more opportunities for yourself. So keep pushing things out there, especially on social media, because it's huge now,
Right.
and really uh, meet new people like as much as you can, um, because you never know, at that time they might offer you something that could take you to the next level.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So if you can remember, what was like your first modeling gig, and what is it that you learned from it then that you probably would do differently now?
My first official one was actually with Produce Portland.
Okay.
Because before I was really just starting, I was just taking pictures just to really get experience. And I was at this photo shoot with a friend of mine who's a photographer, and he's like, "Oh, your Produce gave me some beanies to model. Would you be cool if we can model for them?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool."
Yeah.
Um, what I learned from that is hmm, is like push like what you're, because a model, we are basically the mannequin for clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I learned from that is really learn how to push the brand in pictures more, like make it more be known that,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh look, I'm wearing this, or like, look, because the a good philosophy behind modeling is when people look on sites, they look at the models and be like, oh, it looks good on her or him, so it's gonna look good on me.
Right.
People are more inclined to buy stuff when it's on somebody than rather if it's on like a piece of like a table just showing the product.
Gotcha.
So being a better mannequin for clothes, whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I really learned from that. But
Gotcha.
that really created an amazing relationship with me and Produce.
Mm-hmm.
From that shoe, I ended up making it to their website,
Dope.
and I never would have thought that that would have happened. I thought like, oh, I'm just gonna take pictures and then they're just gonna post on Instagram.
Right.
Seeing your face on a website where people constantly go and buy stuff on
Mm-hmm.
was it was crazy to me. And
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep going and work even harder
Right.
because of that.
Right. So, so that's really cool. What other brands have you worked with besides Produce, or since working with Produce?
For Produce, I waved or Exotic Pop. I'm now a brand ambassador for them. Um, Black Mannequin, Princess Diana Boutique. There's been so many.
Dope. Dope.
Um, I just got done like a few weeks back with this competition with Maxim to
Mm-hmm.
be their next cover girl. I made it into top 10. I
Congrats.
didn't, thank you. I was close to making it to top 5. I was like a place or two away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was an honor to even be involved in that competition in the first place and to
Right.
make it so far.
Right.
So, but it's just, it's a, it's getting a long list of people now. Like
Yeah.
I can't think of everybody, but every
Yeah.
single brand that I've worked with, I love so much and I adore them. And like I will always continue to support them.
So that's what's up. That's pretty cool. What other questions did I have? Gosh, I you said something that triggered something, but it escapes me. Oh, brand ambassador. Uh,
Yeah,
what were some of the steps that you took to becoming a brand ambassador? Like, what exactly does that look like?
content,
Content.
content, content, putting yourself out there and really understanding the difference between a real brand ambassadorship
Mm-hmm.
and the fake ones. Because
What's
if
the
you look through your
difference?
so like say you post a picture, right?
Right.
Then you have this brand, I quote it,
Mm-hmm.
and they comment under saying like, oh, we love this, go DM such and such, blah blah blah. That's a fake,
Mm-hmm.
because you should never have to DM a brand if they want to work with you.
Right. That would DM you.
Exactly. Or if they ask you to be like, oh yeah, you have to purchase this package and you'll get a discount code, blah, but no. You shouldn't have to pay really for anything
Right.
for like that at all. And there's a lot of scams out there,
Mm-hmm.
brands stealing other people's work. So really just understanding the difference.
Right.
But again, content is so important, being really frequent on when you post, gaining your followers, and just basically trying to reach out to all walks of life
Yeah.
through social media. That will gain attention to, you never know, a brand like on the other side of the country or somewhere in a different continent,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. You need to grab people's attention.
So,
It's so important.
so, okay, cool. So, and you said that when it's a real brand, they're gonna reach out to you.
Hmm.
There shouldn't be any cost involved. Um,
Yes.
what would you say for just a rising model, a rising what would you call yourself? Would you say model, or is there another
Yeah,
part of you?
I would say model. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say for a rising model that is interested in like penetrating the industry and kind of like growing? Where would you say to start it?
One, really figure out your style
Mm-hmm.
is, and really working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't don't try and go outside of your comfort zone, like just to gain attention. If you feel uncomfortable with something, or even a photographer, don't work with them.
Yeah.
It's not, none of that is worth it.
Gotcha.
Staying true to yourself is so important. Just really be authentic with yourself and your followers, and show your personality through social media. Um, Being consistent with
Mm-hmm.
your content, posting
Mm-hmm.
on your story, posting on your page, and just really promote yourself.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. Whatever social media platforms you have, just really promote, like I said, promote yourself. You are your own business. You are your own boss at that point.
Right. Right.
Put yourself out there, because you never know what could happen. Don't be scared, and just gain, meet new people, ask models that are already in it for advice.
Right.
I've talked to some people who wanted to be models, and I've offered to um, give them some of my photographers that they can work with,
Mm-hmm.
um, teach them things and all that. So
Right.
just all of that. And just, like I said, just really be yourself. Don't
Yeah.
try and be like somebody else. Find your own style, find your own swag, and grow from that.
So, and then I also kind of wanted you to talk about how you got into the model agency. Like, what was that
Hmm.
process like for you?
So I actually wanted to start modeling when I was in high school.
Mm,
My mom was a model, so I thought in the back of my head it would be dope if I, did what she did.
right,
In high school, it didn't really work because I was so busy with school and sports. I didn't have time.
right.
Um, but then all of a sudden, I'm 24, 23. I'm thinking I'm going to try again. Who
Mm,
knows if I'm going to get signed, but at least I can say I tried.
right.
I went to an agency, or they reached out to me,
Mm,
and I went there to an open call, and in like maybe not even an hour after I left,
mm,
they gave me a call and they said they wanted to sign me. So just really like, and I've hit so many different agencies before. So I was like, I'm just going to keep hitting them. And then because I'm going to land on something,
right,
I'm not just going to focus on one. And if they reject me, I'm like, oh, okay, well then I'm not going to be assigned by anybody.
right, right,
Keep hitting other agencies because you really never know who's going to say yes.
right. What are when it comes down to a agency, what are some of the things that you pay attention to as far as like what an agency, a modeling agency offers?
One is how long they have been an agency and what
Mm,
their success has been like.
mm,
Um, and reaching out to models who are already signed and ask them how their experience with the agency is. Have they been getting work by them? And stuff like that. Just really asking around, and it's really looking at what they put out for their models and what kind of work they give them,
right.
because there's definitely good agencies who give their models like shoots, like few shoots per week.
Mm, mm,
That's good for a model,
right.
especially if it's a paid job as well.
Yeah. You said
um
huge shoots per week.
like a few, like a couple or three or four.
Gotcha. Okay.
um because that, yeah, those are really key aspects that I look for, because
Gotcha.
like with new agencies, because they are so new, they're just kind of putting their feet in the water. They're reaching out to companies that don't know them yet. um so there's a 50-50 chance that if you sign with them you will get work or you
Right.
won't, because they are so new.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do models have to kind of like go like how with music artists or record companies they have like a split between management or a split between whatever label that they're
Hmm.
with? What what is a good split number for a modeling agency that you would say?
Like a percentage wise,
Mm-hmm.
I would say 15 or 20%.
15 or
That's
20
the
percent.
that's the normal of what an agency will take from their models.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Cool. Cool. Wow, you giving like so much insider information. I appreciate it there. I mean, because you never know who kind of sort of needs to know the information and how to
Right.
be in a position to like really market themselves so that the opportunity does present itself, they can be able to step into that field. Um,
Hmm.
so dope. That's amazing. Let me see. Okay, so I won't hold you too much longer, but just two more questions and we're gonna wrap it up. So
Okay.
what's your when it's all done and over with, what does your legacy work look like for you? Like what do you want to your life to have been lived for?
Oh, that is a good question. Just really be an example of how you carry yourself as a person, how you value yourself, where it can really get you. And like I've there's definitely been a lot of moments in my life where I didn't know how to properly love myself.
Mm-hmm.
So learning how to give yourself love and not always depend on others for that responsibility, you're going to be so much better off.
Right.
Um, and it's like really just be a beacon for someone that was a solid person who was there for others and just really just showed where hard work is going to get you, not could, is
Right.
going to get you wherever you decide to go in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Work on that. um don't try and follow, what everyone else is doing, what's trending, whatever. Invest in yourself, in what your passion is. You feel it in your gut, what you love and what you want to do, whatever that may be. Do it.
Right.
Research in what you want to do. Learn new skills, and just, as I just do it. It sounds like so simple, because it is.
Right.
Go do it. Like, if you love something so much, it's easy. The work is easy for it, and
Right.
it doesn't ever seem like a chore. But that's what I hope, when I'm done with all this, or I am long gone,
Mm.
I hope I'm able to pass those traits on to, like, my kids, and then their kids and their kids' kids, and just have it be more so just spread out.
Right. Right. I did want you to kind of like define or give me an image of what self love look like to you. A,
To
a,
me,
a visual, rather, a mental visual.
self-love looks like doing what you want to do with your life.
Mm.
Don't try and, you know, do something that other people tell you to do. Follow what your heart tells you. Listen to your gut, because this is your life at the end of the day. You can do what you want with it.
Right.
Live it how you want. You only get this life one time. Go do what you love. Go do fun things with your life. Learn new things, explore, travel, whatever it may be. Go do it. Because if you want it so bad, you're gonna find a way to do it.
Right. Right. And what is your definition of wealth?
My definition of wealth is self-value,
Mm.
self-efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
um, really taking what you've been through in your life, all the good and the bad times, and use it to really prepare you for the future and
Right.
what's next.
Right.
Um, because the sad reality of life is, bad things are always going to happen.
True.
Try not to focus on that, but really, look forward to the speed bumps, to the good and the bad times. Is It's all going to teach you valuable lessons at the end of the day.
Right.
So just love life for what it is, and just keep pushing. Really keep going. Don't let anything stop you, or anybody.
Oh well, wow. Okay. Jesus. Well, I really look forward to working with you. I
I
really think,
can't wait.
yeah, I think it's important to, like, whoever you work with, that if nothing else, the vision kind of sort of be in alignment. You know what I mean? Because uh we all have our own light or our own purpose that we have to fulfill as individuals. But when it comes
Mhm.
down to like being a helpmate to be able to help each other, you can't fit to a piece of the puzzle that doesn't go. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if there's a part that's missing, or if there's a part that's there that would kind of like hinder from the connection or the marriage, it's really going to be difficult trying to mesh those things together. So you coming on, is definitely my way of saying, you are definitely going to be a new addition to Well Fashion, but it also gives people an opportunity to know that regardless of who this brand works with, is going to be someone just like yourself that is still taking the time and the energy to focus on their purpose, to make sure that they're
Right.
looking out for their successors, that to make sure that when you rep any rep wealth or in a relationship with this brand, that you're doing something that outlives you. So I
Hmm.
really appreciate you for coming on and having this chat with me at 10 something in the morning.
Early in the morning. But thank you so much for having me. I love having these conversations and building relationships with new people. Like I really look forward to working with you and your brand. Like being able to meeting you and like under really more understanding what it stands for. It
Right.
makes me want to work with you even more and get me more excited to see what the future holds for the both of us.
I appreciate that, and I definitely look forward to that as well. Because I mean, the fact that you're in a space where you're already growing and you're already establishing relationships, you definitely can give add your own personal perspective of what you have seen that works for others, as
Hmm.
well as what could possibly fill the whole year. Because when we start to do things, yeah, we start doing it by ourselves, but you eventually need some type of help or assistance or somebody that can see things from a different perspective. So I like the fact that you are well versed and you've already established a lot of relationships and have experienced a lot of training in your avenue already. Because that makes you even more valuable. But
Hmm.
I won't hold you too much longer. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
And I'm gonna hit you up after this. We're gonna throw up the wealthy symbol. I hope you guys have a wealthy week. And this has been Wealth Talk TV.